was jotting down some memories of Mama and things that are most memorable in honor of her 80th birthday, and we've been married for a long, long time. And that was the first memory of my first meeting of Mama was at Winthrop College. I was dating a girl that I knew. I can't remember, I was in the Navy or coming home on leave, but anyway, she was doing something at the play at Winthrop, and so she asked Mom and Billie to look after me while she did the play, and the girl's daddy took us out to eat afterwards, and I got to meet Mama, and I kind of had my eye on her then, but I went back to the Navy or whatever, and things got away from me. My second memory was I was getting ready to get out of the Navy, and I came home on leave to register at University of South Carolina. And while I was there, I think it was in November around my birthday, and I called a graduate women's dorm, and a friend of mine's girlfriend was there, and I was going to ask her to get me a date while I was home. And Mama answered the phone, and apparently the gal wouldn't come to the phone, was asleep or something. And I just said, well, tell her I call. This is Mama Edmonds, and to call me or I'll call her back. She just, Mama said, oh, I know you. You used to date Dale Davis. And so we got to talking and this and that and the other. And I said, well, why don't we go out for a cup of coffee? And so we met, I can't remember, was that afternoon or the next day, for a cup of coffee at a hotel downtown Columbia within walking distance of the women's dorm, and we kind of hit it off. And so I think we dated again, and this is a really interesting, because we dated to the Carolina Clemson game. And it's probably the most interesting thing, because there was a fraternity, I forget which fraternity it was at South Carolina, but apparently they went to high school and got some orange uniforms and dressed up like Clemson players, and they came running out, and all the Clemson players started jumping up and cheering, and the guys were throwing the ball and throwing it on the ground and falling down when they tried to kick, and exercising and falling all over the place. And then the Clemson guys realized that that really wasn't their team, and they came out on the field and started attacking them. And then the South Carolina fans started coming out attacking them, and it was a big melee for the ball game ever started. I remember finally talking Mom to go with me to play golf, and it was getting close to Christmas time, and so she spent her time picking up pine cones, putting them in my golf bag to take home to decorate for Christmas decorations. Finally, I talked to her one time into actually hitting a golf ball, and it was up at Lanier, and y'all remember how Plainview Drive goes down by the side of what was, I think, the second hole. Well, the first time she hit a golf ball, she hooked it, and it was a Volkswagen going down the road, and she hit it right in the side. So the first time she ever hit a golf ball, she hit a moving Volkswagen. And it was a long time before I could talk her into playing golf again, and she did. She got pretty good. And another golf thing I remember are some of the AP teachers at Spartanburg High, the Walford, invited the teachers to go somewhere. It seemed like Hilton Head, and we went down there and played golf, and Mom hit a ball and it landed right by an alligator. And so we decided we would leave the ball by the alligator and not pick it up, but we always get a big kick out of that.
My first memory of Mom, who's turning 80, is when I was a little girl. I remember riding on a seat on the back of her bike and going down this little road we called Flyaway Birdway, and looking at horses on that road, and I guess there must have been a lot of birds, but I remember thinking that was such an adventure to be able to ride on that road. Other memories I have, I remember standing in a chair at the kitchen counter cooking with her and making biscuits, and her showing me the way her grandmother made biscuits. I remember that, and I remember drying the dishes. I remember, Mom seemed to always have a remedy for whatever was wrong with you, always was able to fix it. So I probably get that from her. And I love plants, especially orchids like mom does. So, and I think I love people who really genuinely care about people the same way Mom does. And I think I got that caring of people, just even at an individual level, about their thoughts, their feelings, and so forth. I remember very vividly going to France with Mom and walking up and down all the stair steps in Paris that we could possibly see, and she knew everything about every landmark there. And I remember touring caverns in France, and wine caves and cheese caves, with her as our guide and leader, and that was a fun adventure. So some really great memories and things that she shared with us growing up, and made it interesting. I remember having my mom as a French teacher, and she was definitely the hardest teacher I had. But I did pretty well. I surprised her, I think. I think she didn't think I was getting out of it as much as I actually got out of it. But I did listen in class, and I took it all in, and it paid off when I lived in France, for sure. Mom, thank you for all that over the last 80 years that you've done. Well, not 80, because I'm only 51. Over the last 51 years you've done for me and my family personally, and all the gifts that you've given us to educate us, to value education, to help us be the most highly educated and best versions of ourselves we could possibly be, and for all the love and caring that you brought to us, and to all the other people that I saw you throughout my life bring it to, including your students, and how much you cared about them, and animals too. Love how you care for the animals, the dogs and the cats, and I have that same love, and the love of plants as well. Those are just some of the beautiful things that we were able to get from you, and hopefully pass on to our own children. I love you very much, and I hope your 80th birthday is extremely special like you are, and I hope you get your 80th birthday wish that COVID comes to an end. I love you. Bye-bye.
And I guess, a real memory is our wedding at Park Street Church. Remember how pretty Mama was, and Pat was walking her down the aisle and looked so pretty, and I was nervous, and Bill Westbury was our best man, and he told me that I had my hands behind my back and was bouncing up and down on my toes all through the ceremony. And of course, Mom was calm, and I think the protocol is that you give Mom had told me what to do. You give the money to the best man, who's supposed to give the money to the preacher. So Uncle James actually did the wedding, but the preacher at Park Street Church, we felt we ought to pay him. So I gave Bill Westbury a check, $25, and he forgot to give it to the preacher. And a couple months later, he said, "Oh, I found that damn check you gave me for the preacher, and I mailed it to him." Oh. It's about 2 or 3 months after the wedding, and I remember we had to pay for our own wedding, and Mama said we needed pictures and flowers, and the pictures cost $25 to get pictures made, and flowers were $25, and I said, "Do we have to have flowers and pictures?" Because I was in school, and she was teaching making something like $3,900 a year or whatever. But we came through with the $50 for the flowers, and we do have
Happy birthday, Nana. Some of my favorite memories are when you and Pat came to watch my We Are the Drum. That meant a lot because Mom and Dad couldn't be there and you guys were watching us. I also remember you going over French flashcards with us and reading us that one French book. It was a Max and Ruby Christmas book, and I remember you reading us that book so we could learn more French before we were leaving for France. I always loved playing Scrabble with you. Buddy and I both loved that, and playing Old Maids with you and Pap. And I still remember you teaching me the eeny, meeny, miny, mo in French. And I remember you, when I was little, always reading The Giving Tree and Little Black Sambo and Amy's Long Night, and reading those books to me. And so those are some really good memories that I have with you, Nana. So happy birthday, and I love you, and I hope you like this video. This is a gift from me and everybody to you for your 80th birthday. Love you.
So, my favorite memory with Nana, I actually remember this very clearly, is none other than the day I beat her for the first time in Scrabble. And if I'm not wrong, it was by a decent amount. Like, it was a victory. I was proud. Like, but I know she'd probably let me win. But it was a good feeling. It was a good feeling.
When I finished University of Georgia, getting ready to graduate, Mom got pregnant with Elise, and I got a job at the mental health center, and I started to work. Mama quit teaching school on a Friday. Actually, it was only about 2 months before Elise was born. I said, no, it was just a month before you were born, because I went to work at the mental health center on April the 1st, and you were born April the 29th. So Mama quit work on a Friday, and I started at mental health center on a Monday. I'd just been there less than a month. And then on April the 29th, Mom comes in about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon and asks for me, and I come out and she said, we need to go to the hospital, my water broke. And I said, this is supposed to happen at 2 o'clock in the morning, not 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I got off and we went to the hospital, and Elise was born that night. I guess this was after you were born, one of our trips to France. This was after, well, Bo was born. Yeah, that'd be a right good size, because his friend Buck Crosby and his dad liked to ride bicycles and whatnot, and we were going to France, and Bo told Mama, said, why are you there? Buck Crosby and his daddy gonna be there at Tour de France. Y'all look out. And for Buck Crosby, and I remember listening in, hearing him say that, and I said, yeah, sure, we'll run into Buck Crosby in France. So we were standing there by the statue, I believe it's Joan of Arc or whatnot, where they come down toward the Arc de Triomphe on the bicycles finishing the race. And I heard Mama said, this camera has out of film. I need to run back to the hotel and get it. We're just about 2 blocks away. And I said, well, she said, and don't you go in there, you stand right here so I can find you when you come back. And I was standing there watching them come through, and I heard this voice, and it sounded like a southern English voice. And I looked over it, and bless Pat, it was Buck Crosby and his daddy. And the probabilities of running into Buck Crosby and his daddy in Paris, France, among all that Another funny thing, this was before we all were born, and goes back to Union whenever we were just moving what little furniture we had out of the apartment in Columbia to a little house I'd found in Union, and we did, you know, the moving ourselves, and we set up the bed. Well, about 2 o'clock in the morning, the bed collapsed. And when we put it together, we hadn't put the slats in right, and the mattress collapsed into the floor. And we had to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, both half tired to sleep, and put the bed back together. And another memory of Mama, which is a strange memory, this is, we actually were married 6 years before Elise was born. And I forget where we were, but she woke up in the night screaming. And I tried to reach over, and she just sat up in the bed screaming. And I tried to reach over and hug her and comfort her. And she said, "Well, who are you?" And I think that scared me so bad I had to think for a minute who I was. "I'm your husband, I'm trying to comfort you." We were making the bed this morning, and it made me put it down. Mom does something. She makes up the bed, and she pulls up the cover, and then the sheet's usually longer than the cover. Before we can put the spread over it, Mom has to turn the sheet back about 4 inches over the cover, which I get a kick out of it. I said, "What's the reason for doing that?" "Because you're gonna cover it up with the spread anyway." And she said, "That's the way my mama always did it." We don't know why. She always did it, but Mama's got to do it. And so sometimes I'll kid with her. I'll go get a ruler and measure to see if we got exactly 4 inches to be sure we got it the way it's supposed to be. This is probably the last thing I'm going to say is, but this is about Elise, kind of about Elise and Bo and Mama's memory. Whenever, well, Elise is a little 3 years and some odd months old, from April to June, older than Bo, and so when Mama got pregnant with Bo, we knew she was pregnant. We were riding in the car, and Mama asked Elise, who would have been about 3 then, "How would you like to have a little brother or a little sister?" And she said, "This is the baby right here." I thought that was way cute. Mama and I always got a big kick out of that. But, you know, we built a good life together for the 57 years now, and celebrating those 80 years. I wish we could go back. We were married when I was 24 and Mama was 23. So, and then that's what comes to mind right now, but it's been a good ride. Happy birthday, Nana. Love you.